Okay, so I just want to make sure you know how to do the brioche stitch. I'm just going to do it for you because the only thing that you need to know in this pattern is this stitch, a chain stitch, and a single crochet really. So we're going to make our chain. You would have done 121 in the back bumps. I like to do mine in the back bumps. You don't have to. So we yarn over, go into that first chain, yarn, pull up a loop, and normally you would do that to finish off the stitch, but we're not. The loop that we pulled up, we're just going to pull it through the two that are already on the hook. These two right here. Just going to pull it through. So you'll yarn over, go in the next chain, pull up a loop. That loop goes through these two loops. I call this a double stack double crochet. I think other people just call it a brioche stitch. Oops. Then you'll chain one and turn. And it's that simple. It is that simple. And it gives you that knit looking stitch. So I just want to let you know that, and to make sure that I told you that it's a Susan Bates 6.5 millimeter. It's not liquid. 6.5 millimeter. I'm using number 4 weight yarn. And that's all there is to this project. I hope you enjoy it. Make some wonderful blankets for the kids at Camp Boggy Creek. Thank you so much. Pattern number 1. Hi everyone, welcome to Needful Things again. Today we're working on our first blanket for Camp Boggy Creek. This will be the pattern for this blanket. Very simple. As you'll see, it looks like some people would think it might be knitted, but it's not. I'm using the same stitch I use when I do my brioche crochet work. Some people call it a brioche stitch. I learned it as a stacked double crochet is what I was told it was when I learned it. So you can call it whatever you need to get you through the day. And so what I've done here, let me pull this out for a second. I'm almost at the end of this one. But what I've done is you just make a chain. This is the beginning of it. I chained 121 stitches. That gave me about 50 inches long because the blankets need to be 40 by 50. Some of them I'll do, 50 one way, 40, and then some I'll do 40 and 50 long. This one's going vertical, so it's actually meant to be this way, but I started this way, horizontal. So we're going to do 121 chains. You'll have 121 stitches. And you just go straight down the line doing that stitch, that brioche stitch if you want to call it that, or a stacked double crochet. And I'll show you that stitch again here. Yarn over, go in the back loop, pull that loop through and pull it through those two loops on the hook. Just like so. And so we've already established our length, which is 50 inches, so that means our width's going to be 40 inches because we want it to be 40 by 50. I'm making the patterns 40 by 50. So you'll do as many rows as you need to get to 40 inches. And when I say 40 inches, I'll show you what I mean. I mean 40 inches this way, like across the, because you're going to show this. We're working on it horizontal, we'll show it vertically. And this will be 40 inches here, which I'm almost up to, because you have the 50 coming vertical on this one. I hope that's not too crazy. And then when we get this part done up to 40 inches this way in our width, we'll just need to do a border because I've left 6 inches from 50. At 121 stitches, I still need like a 3-inch border here and a 3-inch border on the other bottom, on the bottom and the top. We'll just do a simple border there, and I'll show you that when we get to it soon. And then we'll crochet in. I've used several different yarns here that go together, so that's why you see these little tie places in here where I've tied the yarn after I switched colors. You don't have to change colors if you don't want to. I just had these and I wanted to make a blanket, and they work together. So you don't have to use, you can use all one color. You can change as many times as you like. And then at the end, we'll just crochet those in when you do the edging on the bottom, which we'll be doing next. And so for here, I'm just finishing up this row here on this particular blanket. And this will give you a very easy pattern. It moves quickly because we need to get a lot of blankets made for the kids at Camp Boggy Creek. And so this will be our first Camp Boggy Creek Afghan pattern number 1. You can make one, you can make as many as you want, or you can wait till the next pattern and use that one, or you can use them all. I already have another one almost ready to go when I get this one done. So I'm going to keep working on that part of it so that I can reach my 40 inches. And then I will come back and show you how we're going to do the edge on the bottom and the top. It's going to be quite simple. It just needs to be about 3 inches. Now if you need to see this a little bit closer, you can see I'm yarning over. I'm going in this back loop, pulling it through, and pulling that loop that I just pulled through the 2 that are on the hook. I've heard it called a brioche stitch. I learned it as a stacked double crochet. That's what I call it. And it's the same stitch that I use for my brioche work. If you've looked at any of my patterns with the brioche scarves or hats or whatever. Oops. And then when we get to the end of each row, of course, we'll just chain 1 and turn and repeat down the row until we reach our 40 inches across. And because this one is pretty nicely finished on the edges when you get through, as you can see, it's a pretty nice edge. What I may do, I'm not sure yet, we'll see, is I might just go down the side with 1 single crochet, but I may not do that because I kind of like the way that looks. So we'll see. So we're at the end, so we chain 1, just turn our work. And I haven't counted how many rows I've done, I just measure it to when I get to, so I'll know when I'm at 40 inches. And we'll start on the next row, going into the back loops. Yarn over, pull that loop through and pull it through the 2 on the hook. And it is that simple. And as you can see, quite beautiful. It makes a really, really beautiful blanket. So keep working on that, and I'll get back to you when we get to the edging on the ends, okay? Okay, so I've finished my last row of my stitches, my little brioche top stitches. And I'm here at the end of my row, and I've gotten 40 inches across there, so I know that I'm done because I measured it. And so here we are. I'm just going to, I want to change my, you don't have to do this unless you're changing color, but if you are changing color, this would be where you do it. I'm using the 6.5 millimeter hook also from Susan Bates and 4-weight yarn. Okay, so I'll be switching from this, I'm just going to cut it, to a gray to finish off the edging on the bottom and the top. And it's the same as the gray, some of the gray that I've worked in there before. Like I said, if you're not changing colors, you don't have to do this, of course. So we're on the last stitch. there for a second. Pull up my stitch. There we are. Chain one to hold it. And this is what I've done when I've changed, every time. And I'll just tie these in a little knot. First one I do a little gentle, so as not to pull my stitches. And then the second one you can make tighter. So, okay, so here, now I'm turning my work back as if I was going to go down another row. And I am. Let me pull these out of the way. We'll get those on the end. Okay. So this will be the side, one of the sides of the blanket, where just that edge there. So what we're going to do here is I'm not changing the hook size because I want it to stay like open and flat and not pucker up anywhere. And I know that this will give me that control. And so all I'm going to do here, I've chained one. And we're just going to go into this back the same way in the back stitch and just do a single crochet. Just like that, very simple. Just like that. And we're going to do it all the way down that side. And then we'll get to one of the ends. And normally when you do like edging or ribbing or something, you would change your hook to a smaller size, but I don't want anything to like pull it in like you need it to do when you're making a garment or something, because I don't need that for this. This is more like a finishing edging type thing. I had debated whether or not I was going to do it, and I decided I would do it to make it a little more structured. Like I said, you don't have to, and you can just do the part on the ends to finish it off. So, okay, that's what we're doing down the edge. This will be on the edge that's 50 inches long, or it will be 50 inches, because the two edgings we're going to do on the bottom and the top part here, they're like 2 inches each, and that'll make the the Afghan 40 by 50. But I really don't think you'd like to sit here and watch me do single crochets for 121 stitches. Maybe you would, I don't know. So basically this is a very, very simple pattern. And like I said, it does progress pretty quickly, and you can do any color combinations you want, as long as you stay within the perimeters of the pattern so that you end up around 40 by 50. And you'll only get that if you use this gauge, which is the 6.5 millimeter. Any larger is going to make it bigger, smaller is going to make it smaller. And if you use a smaller hook, you're going to have to add stitches. So if you want to follow this pattern, get a 6.5 millimeter hook. It doesn't have to be a Susan Bates, it just happens to be that's my favorite kind of hook. I know a lot of people don't like them because it has more of a point on the end. Although this one's it's pointed, but not like they normally are. So we're working in those back loops, don't forget that. And the reason we're doing that is because we're working on the front of our work now. This is actually the front side of the work. And so I want that last row to lay down properly there, the V stitches. And that gives it that. If you put it in the 2 loops, that disappears. Okay, so I'm going to work the rest of this off camera so that you don't have to go crazy watching me do single crochets. And I'll come back when we get to the end and we'll start with our edging for one end and then we'll work around. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row, as you can see there with my single crochets. Now I'm up here, so I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to we're going to yarn over, sorry. And then we're going to go in that 5th chain there. Pull a loop through and do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're just doing a simple ribbing. You've probably done it before. So now that we're back down to here, we've crocheted back down. We're going to just slip stitch into that first row. Slip stitch into that second row. Turn your work. Skip 2, 1, 2. Then you'll have 5 here in the back loops, single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1. Turn your work. That's chain 1. We'll turn our work. Now we're going to be in the back loop still, just doing our single crochet ribbing in the back loops. There's 5. And 5. Wait a minute, sorry about that, I went the wrong way. Where am I? Okay, here we are. Sorry about that. Got it twisted. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go back down to our base where we will do a slip stitch into the next 2. Turn. Skip 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1, turn. Same thing, back loops, single crochets, 5 down. Slip stitch into the next 2 spots. Turn, skip 2 of chains, 1, 2, and then go into the next 5 with your single crochet in the back loops. Chain 1, turn, and that's what we're doing. We're just doing a very basic, I have a knot in mine there. We're just doing a basic ribbing on the bottom. So you'll go up your 6. When you come back down in the back loops, you'll go 1 slip stitch in the next one, 1 slip stitch in the next one, and just keep repeating all the way across to the end. And I'll catch up with you when we get to the other side. I'll do a few more here so you can watch. But I'm sure most people have probably done this. It's very simple ribbing. Now we're back down to the bottom where we'll pick up our slip stitches, 1 and 2. And just try to space them out. And if you come along to the strings and things, you'll just crochet that in. Now we'll turn. 1, 2 there, skip those. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1 and turn. Back loops, always the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do our 2 chain stitches, slip stitches I mean, sorry. Turn. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1 and turn. And here's what you're going to have when you get done. You'll have this nice ribbing here. So I'm going to complete mine all the way across and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, so I've reached the end of my ribbing edge on my first end here, and this is what it looks like. So I've come to the end and I've finished at the end of my work here. And now I'm just going to go down this side like I did the other one with a single crochet. In the beginning I'm going to do it through both of the loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then when I get down here, I'm going to do it in the back loop like I did on the other side. I'm just going to crochet that little tail in at the same time. So I'm going in that back loop. Just doing a single crochet just like we did going up the other side when we started with that single crochet over here on this side. Like so. This is what we're doing. And we'll do this all the way down to the other end, and when we get to the other end, we'll do the same thing we did here. We'll chain 6. We're going to do 6 chains and then 5 stitches in our piece, front, back, single crochets. Same thing we did here. I'm still using the same 6.5 millimeter hook. And like I said, you can, you do whatever color you want to do. You can make, if you want to make 20 this way, you can do that as well. It's just, you have a variety of patterns. It makes it more fun. Because it should be fun for us when we're making them as well. I don't want it to be a chore. Certainly it isn't. So that's what we're going to do down that side, so it looks just like the other one when we get through. We're still working on basically the front of our work, because I put my stitch marker in so I'd know where the front was early on. So we're just going to continue with the single crochets in that back loop till we get to the other end. That's 121 stitches. So I'm not going to bore you with all these single crochets. So I'm going to work down to the end where we get to the next ribbing on the other end of our piece. And once we get that 2 inches of ribbing on, we should have a 40 by 50 piece, and we'll be complete. If you have any loose ends anywhere you need to sew in or tie in or anything, you'll do that. So continue that to the other end, and I'll meet you when we get to the next set of ribbing on the other end. So I'm at the end of this row of my singles up the side. I've got a couple stitches left here. And that's the end of that row, and I'll crochet these ends in as I go across here. So now what we're going to do is the same thing we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 single crochets back down our chain. We're going to connect into this first section here with a slip stitch in that row there. That counts as that row. Here's the next row. We'll go right into there and pick that stitch up. Slip stitch, turn, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As before, chain 1, turn back to the other side. In the back loops, now we'll go into this next section. Oops. Slip stitch, slip stitch. And twist it up. Go back down with our 5 stitches. 1, 2. Chain 1, turn back, and our back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slip stitch into the next 2 rows. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whoops. Chain 1 and turn. And we're just doing the same ribbing that we did on the other end all the way across. You see. And I'm going to crochet these in as I go across here. And what sticks out I'll just cut off. Chain 1, turn. And so we'll complete that all the way across to the other side, which we've already done. We started on that side, so we'll be done when we get there, and we'll just do the last row and connect it to this one and tie it off, and we'll be done. So I'll meet you when we get almost to the end of this row, okay? Okay, so I've come down to the end of my ribbing section. I've done my last row, and it meets right up with my singles that are already there. So all we have to do now is cut the line, and secure your thread, and then we'll just work it in. You can darn it, you can do whatever you like. Just get it out of the way. Make sure it's secure. And then we're done. And then we have this beautiful Afghan for the kids at Camp Boggy Creek. Coming to you. And here's the other side. Okay, there it is. So I want to demonstrate to you how that's, so I make sure you get that stitch.